Hello and welcome to The Gist. I'm your host, Chris Vetrano, here every week to break down all the things that are happening in pop culture and interviewing the people that make it pop. Today, we are giving you my thoughts from the Tortured Poets Department. That's right, Taylor Swift's new record. I have not checked in with you guys on it yet. We talked about it in last month's pop culture roundup. We just had like a little check in. I got thoughts from my friend Emily Vecchio, who joined me on the podcast. But I realized like I haven't really given my full critique, and I wanted to drop in and give you guys some thoughts because I've got a lot of them, as I always do. But yeah, the first thing is like, what is Taylor Swift not doing? And or actually, let me rephrase this. What am I not doing? Why don't I have as much time in the day as Taylor Swift seems to? Because not only is she delivering one of the biggest tours of all time, okay, of all time, the Eras Tour is so massive. And also, by the way, it's like 4 hours long. She's performing that long. Plus, there's rehearsals, there's check-ins, there's sound checks, I mean, the girl doesn't sleep, right? Because in the midst of all of this, not only has she re recorded all of her previous works, she's now also given us a new album. And I'm not even talking about a new album, okay? The Tortured Poets Department is 16 tracks, okay? Then there's the Anthology, which is 31 tracks. I mean, seriously, she must do all of these in like one sitting. She must like sit down, take out a guitar and say, you know what? Put a beat on and I'm just going to strum over it. And then I'm going to record it and I'm going to send it out to the people because I don't know how she's delivering all of this music so quickly. And it's just mind-boggling. And whatever she's doing, I need more of it. I need more time in the day. I need more energy. Taylor, tell us your secrets because, girl, you are doing the most. But Taylor Swift is the moment, right? I mean, she is the moment. And she delivered us 16 amazing moments on the Tortured Poets Department. And I think I was listening to it and I was really trying to like think about my thoughts for the pod because I had gotten a couple of you had said like, what are your thoughts on the new Taylor album? You should do like an episode on it. And so I was really like going through all 31 and I have come to a conclusion. And for the Swifties, I'm gonna lose some of you, and I know that. And but try to stay with me. I don't know that we needed the 31 songs. I don't think that it's like it was necessary. I don't know if they were all like album worthy songs that like if some of these ended up B-sides for a rainy day or we just never saw them. Working in the music industry, artists record so many songs. And when you're preparing an album, you do tend to have like 30, 40 songs and then to choose from. And then you start narrowing it down and then you start figuring out like which songs do we want to, really kind of perfect and get ready for the record. And then you go in and you record and mix and master and do all of the things. I feel like Taylor Swift wrote 31 songs and said, I'm giving them all to the people. And actually, by the way, not just 31 songs, because there's also like all these bonus tracks on some of the vinyls and like the Target edition. And so there are more than that. It's probably like 35, 36. I don't know. Someone will fact check me. But it's just a lot. And I'm like, is she just writing every song and then giving them all to us? Because some of the Swifties want that, and I get that. I don't know if I'm like quite there. I think that there was like some really, really strong moments on on the 31 tracks. But what I kind of came out to is that actually just the normal Tortured Poets Department, the album itself is actually so strong. And what I realized is, so I'm going to take you through kind of my process. I, get this new Taylor Swift record. I immediately, take to my Spotify so that I can digest it all. I start it. I listened to Fortnite. Okay. Post Malone. Hearing that Post Malone was going to be on a track, I was like, yes, give it to me. I can't wait to hear what they do. This is going to be incredible. I was a little underwhelmed in the first sort of go through. I have since grown. I have since like come around on it. Don't come for me. But Fortnite was not my favorite track. It's still not my favorite track on the album, but it was not my favorite song the first go around. And so, we're getting all of this music. I know what we have in store. Then we get to the Tortured Poets department and loved that song. Okay. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I love the little Charlie Puth shout out that she gives. I was like living for this song. Followed by My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. Again, I'm like, okay, we're getting an album. And by the time I get to Down Bad, I'm like, oh, this is better than Midnight's. I'm like, I am going to love this record. I was hoping for like some bops and I was kind of waiting for some bops. But at this point, 4 songs in, I was like, we've got a contender. Like this is really going. So Long London, next track on the album. Little sleepy, but obviously, shout out to Joe and ending that relationship with her London boy. So Long London made sense. It was just a little bit of a sleepy jam. Um, then But Daddy, I Love Him. Okay. And I remember specifically, I was driving to get coffee and I don't know if the cold brew hit at the same time or what, but I was like, hell yeah. This is like old school classic Taylor. Love this song. It was so good. It is a contender for one of my favorites on the entire album. Loved it. Fresh Out the Slammer. Loved it. Florida, I was like, this is cheesy, but it is what it is. Florence and the Machine, Taylor Swift together, singing about Destin. It's like, it's just wild and I love. Guilty as Sin. Boring. I'm sorry. I know. I feel weird. I feel this is why I've like been scared to do a Taylor Swift episode because I feel like the people that are listening to it are the hardcore Swifties and I feel like I'm losing you all. And please just stick with me. I have an opinion and I'm giving you some quick takes, okay? Um and then, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is incredible. I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can. Incredible. LOML, not my favorite. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Okay, another contender for one of my favorites. And like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is her telling the story of her basically being on the Eras tour and having to perform every night with all of that energy that she has and the 4+ hours of show that she delivers and doing it with a broken heart. It's like real and raw and it gives that, there's this moment in the Katy Perry documentary from way back in the day. I don't know if you guys saw it, and I know bringing up Katy on a Taylor episode is also controversial. But there's a moment where she and Russell Brand are deciding to get divorced, and then she's like sobbing and crying, and she has to go out and on stage, and she's like literally sobbing as she's standing on the platform that's about to rise her up on stage, and she like suddenly like wipes away the tears, smiles, and like gets in her stance and goes and performs. And it's like it's a heartbreaking moment of that documentary, and I feel like that's what this song sort of encapsulates. But it's also like it's the bop on the album that we have from her. And so it's like it's crazy how she's got this like really boppy song, but it's like actually really kind of heartbreaking when you think about what she's saying is that she's doing this for us, for the people, for the Swifties. She's performing every night and giving her all, but inside she's not feeling it. And it's amazing. The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, track 14, so good. Okay, this might also be in the contender for favorite. Because it's a beautiful song. It's so, I mean, she's serving cunt. And I mean, some of these lyrics are just like, yes, girl, you tell him. It was amazing. I love that song. And then I'm going to say it, The Alchemy and Clarabout, I could do without. So this album, okay, I know that this is like, I just raced through the songs, but like I said, short episode today. But my thoughts here are, again, not popular, but this song or this album could have probably been 12 songs. And I think it would be an incredible, incredible album, one of her best. I think that some of the songs, a little sleepy, like I said, Guilty as Sin, The Alchemy, Clarabout, like I don't relate to them. I know that there are a lot of people that do. I just am like, oh, yeah, we could have taken those out. And I'm not going to talk about the rest of the anthology, but there are some songs on the anthology that I'm actually like, oh, those songs should have been added to the album, and then that would have been an incredible record. But I think that again, she put together a story, and I know that there's probably something in the sequencing that I'm not even like enough of a Swiftie to really like digest, but there's something in the sequencing of the record that is probably telling a certain kind of story, and then the rest of the songs are the filler tracks and things. But I think that like as a body of work, this is a really good album. And so here's my other thought, and this is what took me so long to get these thoughts to the people, is I listened through these songs. And again, like I said, when I got past I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, I listened to The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, and it's a little bit of a sleepier song, but it's so good. You really have to dial in to like hear how incredible the lyrics are and everything. But it kind of kicks off this like vibe where like a lot of the songs start to sort of sound really similar. And by the time you get through all 31 songs, you're like, I feel like she just delivered 31 songs that all sounded exactly the same. And I I think that was a mistake, because I listened to all 31 back to back, as I'm sure many people did. And I was like, by the end of the 31 songs, I was like, I'm fatigued. I'm fatigued with the sound. I don't know if I like the album anymore. Like I was like, it had tricked me into thinking that I really didn't care for the album very much. And then I was like, okay, I've got to listen to it again. I've got to like sit down with it again, and I need to like fully embrace some of these songs. And as I started listening to it from the top again, and going Fortnite, Tortured Poets Department, my boy, Down Bad, But Daddy I Love Him, Fresh Out the Slammer, Florida. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, there are so many songs on this record that I actually really like and was like jazzed about the first time I heard, but I kind of forgot completely about them, because by the time I got through all 31 songs, I was I was tired. And I I felt like they just all kind of were like sounding the same, and then I wasn't able to pick out those songs that like really got me excited. And so that's my only plug, is that like I feel like if you're not like a true Swiftie and you have not given this album a chance, I would say only listen to the Tortured Poets Department album. Only listen to the the 16 song album. Don't don't try to like dive into all 31 songs. And then if you get through that and you love it and you've digested it and you find that you're a big fan of it, then I think you move on. But maybe giving us all 31 at once was just too much. That's just my thoughts. Like I said, please don't come for me. I'm always like nervous about the Swifties. The fan base is very, very intense. And I understand why, because I love Taylor Swift. I love everything she does. I cannot say enough good things about her, but I'm just trying to bring my honest opinion to the pod. So that's what my thoughts are on the Tortured Poets Department album. It's definitely a must listen, and also it's definitely, for me, it's better than Folklore, Evermore, and maybe even Midnight's. I'm still teetering on where Midnight's falls for me, but it's definitely better than the other two COVID albums that she gave us. So I'm here for it. And I I'm glad that she delivered it. I am looking forward to Reputation, Taylor's version. Okay, just another plug for that. I was like hearing that that's what we were going to get, and that's what everyone thought she was like about to release, and then she surprised us with a brand new record. And like I said, she has already had to add this to her Eras tour. Like, she's already delivering this new album in the Eras tour, which is, again, where does she find the time? Um, but speaking of time, that's all the time that I'm going to have for today, guys. But like I said, short episode this week. Next week, we're back with a full episode. We're breaking down all the biggest moments of pop culture from May. I've got a guest, Jim Ferraros, from season 1 of American Idol. He's been on the podcast before. He just released a new single called Pyramid. If you have not heard it, go check it out. Very sexy. And he's going to be here to chat pop culture with me. So be back for that. And until then, it's Chris Vetrano signing off. Bye.